You know, one of the strangest things we do as human beings is treat happiness as if it lives somewhere else, somewhere ahead, somewhere later. We say, when I finally get my life together, when I solve this problem, when I become the person I'm supposed to be, then I'll be happy. And in that very movement, happiness slips away. Because happiness is not something you can chase like a bus before it leaves the station. It is not a trophy waiting at the finish line. It is not a possession. The moment you turn it into an object of pursuit, you place it at a distance from yourself. You make it part of the future. And the future, as you may have noticed, never arrives in the form we imagine. It always comes as this, as now. That is the joke. We are always leaning forward into life, hoping the next moment will finally give us permission to rest. But life does not work that way. Happiness isn't something you squeeze out of experience by trying harder. It is more like the fragrance of a flower. The flower does not struggle to create its perfume. It simply blooms, and the fragrance appears as a side effect. And so it is with joy. Joy is what life feels like when you are not at war with it. But most of us have been taught something very different. We have been taught that the present moment is not enough, that now is just preparation. Childhood prepares you for adulthood. School prepares you for work. Work prepares you for security. And security, perhaps, will one day prepare you for peace. So you spend your life climbing a ladder, only to realize the ladder was leaning against a cloud. You were never meant to live that way. Imagine going to a concert and spending the whole evening impatient for the final note. You would miss the music completely. Yet this is exactly how many people live. They treat life as a means to an end. They rush through the days, endure the weeks, organize the months, all for the sake of some imagined moment when things will finally feel right. But the point of music is not the last note. The point of dancing is not to arrive at a certain spot on the floor. And the point of life is not to get to some future state where everything is permanently settled. That is why the direct pursuit of happiness becomes so frustrating. It assumes that life is something you can control well enough to produce a constant emotional reward. It says, I will be happy when reality obeys my conditions, when people behave properly, when my feelings remain pleasant, when uncertainty disappears, when the waves stop. But if you wait for the ocean to stop moving before you enjoy it, you will never enter the water. Life is movement. It changes. It rises and falls. It blooms and fades. It gives and takes away. And happiness, in the deeper sense, is not the absence of that movement. It is your willingness to move with it. That is why some of the happiest moments in life arrive when you are not trying to manufacture them at all. You are walking home, and suddenly the evening light hits the buildings in such a way that the whole world seems quietly luminous. You are laughing with a friend, and for a few moments there is no performance, no self-protection, no inner commentary. Just laughter, just warmth. Or you sit by a window while rain falls outside, and nothing extraordinary happens, and yet everything feels strangely complete. You did not plan those moments. You did not earn them. You did not force them into existence. They came because, for an instant, you were simply there. This is what we so often forget. Happiness does not usually come from getting what you want. It comes from being so fully involved in life that the question of whether you are happy never even arises. A child building a sandcastle on the beach is not thinking, this activity will maximize my fulfillment. The child is absorbed. And because the child is absorbed, there is delight. The delight is not a reward added on afterward. It is built into the wholeness of attention. But the adult comes along and says, "What's the point? The tide will wash it away." Of course it will. That is what makes it beautiful. The sunset does not last. The song ends. The wave breaks. The laughter fades. But that does not make them meaningless. It is the grasping mind that says, if it cannot be kept, it cannot be enough. And because of that, we miss the living reality of what is here. We are so busy trying to secure happiness that we fail to notice how often it appears in unguarded moments. We miss it because we are watching ourselves too closely. We are eating a meal and wondering whether we are enjoying it enough. We are taking a walk and asking whether this should make us feel peaceful. We are in love and already worrying about whether it will last. In other words, we stand outside our own experience and measure it while it is happening. And the one who measures is always late. You cannot truly taste life while constantly checking the flavor. This is why the pursuit of happiness so easily turns into a subtle misery. Not dramatic misery, perhaps, just a chronic sense that something is missing. Something should be better. Something should feel different by now. And that feeling comes from dividing yourself in two, the one who lives and the one who watches, the one who feels and the one who evaluates, the one who dances and the one who stands on the edge of the floor taking notes. But life cannot be lived like that. The deepest things are never achieved by self-conscious effort. Love is not manufactured. Laughter is not manufactured. Beauty is not manufactured. They appear when the mind is no longer trying to own the moment. Happiness belongs to the open hand, not the clenched one. The clenched hand can grasp, but it cannot receive. It can seize, but it cannot welcome. And so long as you approach life with that tightness, that constant demand that it give you reassurance, pleasure, certainty, and proof, you remain tense. You remain guarded. And in that tension, joy has no room to enter. Now, this does not mean you must become passive, gloomy, or resigned. Not at all. To stop chasing happiness is not to give up on life. It is to enter life more deeply. It is to stop treating existence like a problem to be solved and begin meeting it as a mystery to be lived. There is a great difference. When you stop asking, "How do I become happy?" something softer begins to happen. You may start noticing what you have been resisting, what you have been postponing, what you have refused to feel because you believed happiness required the absence of discomfort. But real happiness is not a permanent, pleasant mood. It is not smiling through everything. It is not the removal of all sadness, confusion, or pain. It is something quieter than that, something more honest. It is the sense that even in the middle of life's uncertainty, you are not separate from life itself. That even sorrow belongs, even endings belong. Even the ache of not knowing belongs. You are still part of the dance. And when that is deeply understood, not just as an idea, but as something felt in the bones, there is a kind of peace that begins to glow underneath the changing moods. Not because everything is easy, but because you are no longer demanding that life be something other than what it is. Then happiness comes indirectly, sideways, like sunlight across the floor, like the smell of rain drifting through an open window, like hearing birds in the morning only after your inner argument has finally gone quiet. It comes when you forget yourself for a moment, when you are completely inside what you are doing, when you stop trying to turn every experience into a step towards something else, when you realize that this moment, imperfect, fleeting, unfinished, is not standing in the way of life. It is life. So do not make happiness into an idol. Do not put it at the end of a long chain of conditions. Do not say, I will allow myself to live once I have fixed everything. Because life is not waiting. It is happening now, in this breath, in this sound, in the quiet space between one thought and the next. And perhaps that is the real secret. Happiness is not the goal of life for the same reason that the point of a song is not to get to the end. It is the glow that appears when you are no longer racing past the music, when you finally listen, when you let the moment touch you before you turn it into an idea. Then joy appears on its own, not because you captured it, but because at last you stopped running long enough to notice it was already there.